What up, everybody? You are back in tune with another episode of In the Fields podcast. It is your host, Johnny, with my lovely wife, Lisa, and we are back after a little break, man. Life has been lifing. We've just been busy. Just like a lot of birthdays and just very busy and not really having time to shoot as often as I'd like, but we are back, guys. And Couch Chronicles, because it's a weekday and we've got work in the morning. And our kids are upstairs quietly enjoying their evening while we get to shoot, man.
Yeah, I think that's just one thing, is just trying to run a podcast while also working full time and being parents and just adulting in general. Like, this can't be our main focus, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, like, I would love for it to be one day, and, you know, in due time.
That's the goal.
Yeah, in due time, you know, while working our jobs and educating ourselves on the things that we talk about here, you know what I mean? It's like...
It grows with time.
Yeah. Being parents, like you said, just a lot going on, man. But I still like the fact that we get to make time and sit and talk. It's probably, like, my favorite thing that we do. Like, as much as we do this to put it out for everybody to hear and stuff, like, I do enjoy these moments where we sit and just take time for us.
You're so
cute. Yeah, man. On this episode, I guess like what I just said kind of coincides with it. It's just about emotional safety and what that looks like in everyday life or within relationships, whether that's with friends or family. And today's episode, we are going to be starting off. We're going to be bringing back a segment that I feel like we haven't done in a little bit, but we're bringing it back, man. The AA meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys already know, the anonymous advice meetings where you guys submit, you know, a scenario or a situation that you got going on. And, you know, obviously we're not going to tell everybody who sent it, but we will, you know, offer advice and kind of maybe an alternate perspective that you guys can see the situation with. And you just, again, you guys never know when the why in your story is silent.
I was just going to say that.
Get out of my brain,
I was waiting for you to stop talking.
Sorry, dude. But yeah, man.
Come
on. Welcome, Thor. You guys already know our
little mascot.
Our mascot, basically. But yeah, man. So we'll get into the AA meeting. Shout out to the listener who submitted the AA meeting. Here we go. Yeah, we'll get into it. Okay, so hi, Johnny and Lisa. I'm writing this because I don't really talk about this with anyone. I've been married for 5 years, and I don't think I've felt emotionally safe for most of it. I'm not afraid of my partner, but I am afraid of their reactions. If I cry, they tell me I'm being dramatic. If I express a need, they say I'm never happy. So I've learned to stay quiet, smile, and pretend I'm fine. The scary part is I don't even know what feeling emotionally safe should feel like anymore. How do you start rebuilding that sense of safety when you've spent years walking on emotional eggshells?
That's deep.
That's what she said?
I can't stand it.
I'm so sorry.
No, I think that's big, though, because a lot of the time we hear that, you know, people handle situations like that, as she's saying that she does, mainly due to how they were treated as a child. So, like, when you cried as a kid and your parents, you know, told you, oh, toughen up, it's not that serious, or they, like, kind of displaced your emotions to make them invalid or make you feel like less than, you tend to go through the rest of your life shutting down and like not speaking on those things because you don't feel like you can. But I think, you know, with emotional safety, there's like two parts, because there's the part of your internal portion and your external portion. You have to also feel safe with yourself. But when you're in a relationship where your partner isn't pouring into you in those ways, internally, you're going to start believing or feeling that, like, you are overreacting, or that your feelings don't matter, or that you are too much, to the point where you end up closing yourself off and then you're feeling so alone and stuff like that. And it's really big with the communication. Like, you have to be able to set boundaries and express to your partner, like, hey, when you say these things as a response to me coming to you, in turn, it's making me feel like XYZ. It's making me feel like I can't trust you as my partner to come to you. And resentment builds, like other things start taking place, and it could ultimately end up damaging your relationship. Like you have to know, be able to express that to your partner and like open that door for that communication to happen. But it also depends too on like how willing is your partner in communicating with you. Are they willing to sit down and hear these things? Are they willing to take accountability or apologize or, you know, try to look at it from that perspective and be like, dang, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't realize, how I was reacting was making you feel like that. Maybe in the future, like, can you tell me what you may need from me in those moments? Like something like that, like open some kind of door to try to build on that or try to fix the problem.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, not to kind of reiterate what you said, but communication is really big in that aspect because, there's clearly a disconnect between how they communicate with each other. Like that was the first thing I noticed, that she says one thing, he says this in response, but like what he says in response like negates
Yeah, you're not really
the feeling.
addressing.
Like like you're kind of dismissing it instead of, you know, like you're like putting your own perspective on it. Like if somebody's like, "Hey, this makes me feel some type of way," you don't invalidate them and be like, "Well, that's because you're just this or you're doing this." Like, and you know, I'm I'm a victim of that. Like I've definitely been what I would consider narrow-minded at some points in early relationships, and even early in our relationship. Like I was like that, very no, kind of like my way or the highway type of shit sometimes, you know what I mean, where it's like you don't understand anybody else's way of living, you know what I mean, because it's like that analogy where it's like when you go into the world, like you bring the bricks from like your house, like, and you build your own
We talked
house.
about that before.
Yeah, like you build your own house and it's built of good bricks, bad bricks. And then when you meet someone, you want them to live in your house. And they are doing the same thing. They have their own house that they came from, and it's built with good bricks and
Yeah, you
shitty
can't
bricks.
expect them to
And
bring their
they
bricks
want you
with
to
them.
live in their house. But what you guys are supposed to do is take all the good bricks and build a new house. You know what I'm saying? So
It's a process. It
it's
takes time.
it's again, that's what I would say to the person who submitted this, is that's the steps that you have to take in rebuilding that emotional safety within your relationship. And again, it's a two-way street, so your partner has to be willing to meet you halfway. They have to be willing to be understanding and ask different questions. Like, don't just label something. When your wife or your husband comes to you and says, "Hey, this is really making me feel some type of way," like, this is a moment of understand. That's an opportunity for understanding. It's not an opportunity for me to tell you what you're feeling or for
Yeah.
you to tell me what I'm feeling. It's for you to express to me and for me to go, okay, even if I don't understand right away, all right, well, what did I do? What can we do? How can we resolve this? Is there something that I could have done better? Like, these are things that your partner has to be willing to do in order to, again, create that emotional safety, because it's something, it's trust, really. Is what it boils down to, is like, do I not only trust myself with how I communicate my emotions, but do I trust you to receive them in a manner of understanding and empathy? Because if first of all, if I don't trust myself to communicate them, then I know I'm going to do a shitty job at it.
Yeah.
And that, again, I say that from experience, because I too would try to communicate, but when it came to emotional things, my programming, if you will, whenever I got emotional was to immediately result to anger. So it was like, if I was sad, I was mad. If I was upset, I was mad. If I was angry, I was mad. Like, it just, again, it was like any negative emotion kind of just resulted into anger, which then, provoked the short fuse that I used to have. And again, failure to communicate properly. So it was like, if I can't trust myself to communicate my emotions properly, then I can't expect you to receive them or understand them properly either, because instead of me bringing something to you that is, let's say.
But if you're also not understanding your own emotions and stuff, chances are you're not going to understand somebody else's.
Right. But if I bring something to you that's like, if I bring something to you in a manner that, like, I can't deliver it properly, then
chances are I'm
you're
gonna
you're
get
gonna
offensive.
if anything, instead of it being something that is seeking resolution, it's more or less, it seems more provoking and antagonizing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's not something that seems like it wants resolution. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to deliver it properly. But that's what I would say to the listeners. I would say, again, kind of like that analogy, dude, like, you guys both come from different homes with good bricks, bad bricks, and broken bricks. And you guys need to take all the good bricks that you guys have and build the home that you want, especially, you're married.
Because you have to find what works within your
Yeah,
relationship.
you guys have been married for 5 years, which means you guys vowed to each other to create this safe space
Yeah.
that you're looking for. And I think anybody who gets married needs to understand that. Because love is the conscious decision to almost make that sacrifice so that your partner is happy. To do that little thing.
Yeah.
To do those little things. Like, I don't know, man. Like, love to me is that conscious decision to just make the choice.
Yeah.
Do it. Go buy the flowers, dude. Cook him the dinner, babe. You know what I mean? Like, that's, and it's those things. Like you, I'm driving home. I get off of work. All right, baby, perfect timing. I'm about to make food right now. So when you walk through that door, it's fresh for you. Like, it's those little things that create that, wow, like, again, like, creating a space of gratitude. Like, again, there's a lot of things that go into that emotional safety. So I think those are some of the steps that you can take to rebuilding it, is like, walk into life with gratitude, like, remind each other why you guys got married. Like, you didn't do it just to do it.
But it's also understanding and remembering too that, like, over time, and I've said this so many times, is we change as people. So as we go through life and as we go through our healing journeys and we're like learning all these things, not only are we learning about our partner, but we're learning about ourselves too, because we've been together literally, tomorrow's 8 years. We've been married for like a month, going on 2 or whatever. So, you know what I mean? Like, we've done, we've had our toxic, we've had our chaotic, we've had our blissful, our peaceful, our great. Like, but it's all been through steps of us willing to work together to get to this point. But it's also like, through my healing, I'm still to this day learning things about myself, of like how I respond, react, whatever the case is, where it's like, oh, I figured this out, but now I'm at this point where now I got to figure this out. We're continually a building process. And again, like, communication is like, I can't stress it enough, because you have to be willing to sit down with your partner and even your friends, like friends that you hold dear and close to your heart, that you want to stay in your life forever. You have to be willing to have tough conversations. But really, at the end of the day, emotional safety is just feeling safe with whoever you're communicating with. Having that confidence to fully express yourself without any fear. of being dismissed or put down or, being vulnerable. You're just able to do so in a safe place. And you have to work towards creating that safe space. It doesn't just form out of thin air.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a teamwork makes the dream work kind of thing.
Yes.
Thanks. I like that. That was good. Oh, yeah. That was a good AA meeting, man. Yeah, shout out to the listener who submitted. Again, guys, we post the topics for the episodes typically in advance, so this way you guys have time to submit your stuff. I'm pretty sure you can also... I want to say it's through Buzzsprout, I think. Is it through Buzzsprout? I think we have a text link there, too. I think our fans can text us, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. So, yeah, guys, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Shout out to all the feelers. And, yeah, man, before we get to the rest of the episode, let's give them a word from our sponsors. Introducing OuLa-Lade, the best lemonade in existence. You guys already know the vibes. Come on, man. Like, how many times do we got to tell you that OuLa-Lade is the lemonade of all lemonades? You other lemonades or lemonades?
Wow,
this is
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. This is the lemonade. You know what I mean? Like, the lemonade... not the lemonades. You guys don't got anything on this lemonade.
The fresh muddled fruit.
As the kids would say, 6, 7, I think. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, honestly.
Technically, there's no definition for it, so I think you could use it in any tense.
Yeah, so, I guess as the youngsters would say, 6, 7. But yeah, guys, OuLa-Lade, the best lemonade. Make sure you guys go get yours. Follow them on Instagram at OuLa_Lade. Once again, at OuLa_Lade. Find them on all the socials and tell them Johnny and Lisa sent you from In the Fields podcast. And yeah, man, back to our episode. And we are back with another episode of In the Fields podcast. And yeah, man, we are talking about emotional safety. And, I know we say that and, it just sounds like, a random term or just 2 random words. But I think that, it just has a very deep meaning for people.
I think it's a big part of relationships.
Yeah, for sure. And
because I didn't even know that was a thing or even thought of it being a thing until we've gotten through what we've gotten through and we're here now.
Yeah. I mean, for you, like, what does that look like as far as like emotional safety, or what would you say that looks like, or how would you describe it?
I mean, it's definitely not something I've ever experienced, really. Like with my grandparents, yeah, but like I didn't know that's what it was, but those were my go-to people. Like I knew I could count on them. I knew that like I could tell them anything without some type of weird judgment or like punishment or whatever the case is. But like now with the friends that we have, I have it there and I have it with you. But it took a lot of work to get there with you because we both had our things, like our shit that we just brought into our relationship. Mm-hmm. And granted, yes, the love that we had for each other kept us going. But there's been so many times that like, I'm like, oh, we're definitely breaking up. Like there's no way. But we stuck it out and we went through our healing and shit. And like, we've learned about each other and about ourselves. And we've just actively chose like, if we both want this to work, then we have to apply what we're learning to our relationship. So, for example, like I know when I used to overthink and get very overwhelmed, I knew that those kind of things pissed you off. Like you even said, like almost any negative emotion you felt, it turned instantly into just madness, like anger, like pissed off. So I knew that like there were things that like I was feeling that I felt like I couldn't come to you about because I'm like, oh, he's just going to get mad. I don't want to piss him off. Like, I know it's going to not be good. But then for whatever reason, I knew that like in those moments I couldn't bring it to you, but then I still would.
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't contain how I was feeling, because for me, I can't keep to myself when I have big emotions. Like, I have to talk about them. I have to get them out in the open, because a lot of the time they don't even make sense to me. Granted, I'm way more self-aware now, so now I have better control on navigating that, like those things. But at the time, like, that was not an option for me. And then you would get upset, and then I would cry, and then it would turn into like this back and forth thing that we were doing. Now, I'm like, I get even the smallest big emotion, and I'm like, I know instantly I can come to you. Like, I don't have that fear anymore that, like, oh, this is just going to piss him off. Because now, with all the work that we've done and the communication that we've had, that, like, now I know I can come to you, and you're going to respond correctly. You're going to respond in, okay, well, is it something I necessarily did? Is it an outside factor? Instead of you just shutting it down and like telling me I'm being too much or I'm overreacting, or somehow making it just a me thing to make me, because understand, like, when you do that kind of thing, like when you shut somebody down and then you're like quick to be like, well, you're this, you're that, that person is going to start overthinking those things and inevitably feel like they're going crazy in some way, shape, or form, because in their head, they're like, well, I know I have these real feelings. Like, I know that I'm feeling this and this is causing it, but you're just telling me that I'm wrong. But how can I be wrong when I'm feeling it? And then the spiral starts, because now you're like, well, what the fuck? Now you can't make sense of it yourself. But because we're at where we're at, now the way you respond, you help me navigate that emotion. You help me ask the appropriate questions to help me get to the point of like what exactly it is that's causing me to feel that way. Then you proceed and you're quick to be like, okay, well, how can we resolve this? And then you give me options. Do you think this will help? Do you think this will help? How about this? And then we work at it more as a team.
Yeah.
Rather than it being very one-sided or being brushed under the rug or forgotten about. Now I'm able to address things the appropriate way, deal with them, and move on. And now they're no longer a factor in my life. And I never really knew what that meant. Like, I never knew that something like that was possible because I never had that. So all throughout life, I just kept carrying things and carrying things and carrying things because I didn't know. And I didn't have help of having that emotional safety with somebody where I could get help navigating. And instead, I kind of either had to figure it out by myself, or I had to just like tuck it away somewhere back there and just try to forget about it. So for me, it's a very like humbling and peaceful thing to have. And you don't realize how important it is until you actually have it.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, I felt that. Yeah, it just makes love easy, man. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like you get to a point where it's like almost as if like the honeymoon phase doesn't actually dissipate.
It really doesn't.
Because
I used to think that.
yeah, and don't get me wrong, like it does, like life itself does, does the up and down thing, but I think throughout the relationship when you do eventually hit that level of like emotional safety, you kind of drop all the walls, all the guards, and you can kind of just enjoy love on a very simple level, which is like that video we saw the other day where he's like, bro, it's so freaking sweet, dude. Freaking love, bro. Like, just, you're telling me I get to have a sleepover with my hottest bestie forever? That's so dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is, like, to me, when you can enjoy love in its simplest form, it's not complicated.
Mm.
It's something that is just so, like, again, it just makes it doesn't feel harmful. Like
Or
you're not scared to be in it.
yeah,
You
it
know?
doesn't feel like a chore or like a second job. Like it just is.
Well, yeah, you also just don't, it's not something you're like scared of. Like there is no fear.
Yeah.
Like oftentimes like people people get hurt in relationships and then they're like, "Oh nah, fuck love." Like, and I'm like, "Nah, what you had was not love."
Yeah.
Cuz I've been a person who has said that. Nah, fuck love. No, it's not fuck love. Fuck giving my love to people who don't deserve it is really what it is. But oftentimes we're like, nah, love is hurtful, love is painful. And
And it
it's not
can
that it's
be.
not.
It can be.
Love is crazy. Love is
It
psychotic. You literally are gonna love something that's gonna die. That's insane. You're like, oh my God, I wanna give you the power to hurt me. That's insane. But again, when there is emotional safety, love is something that is just so, it's like your favorite food. Like it's just the second you have it, you're like, it's fucking sweet, dude.
That's how I am.
Yeah, dude. It's like you get a good taco or like some ceviche, you're like, fuck, that's hitting, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah, man, I just think emotional safety just, it grants a crazy level of peace that I think is so, like,
It's special.
it's special, but it's so like underrated. Like I feel like people, or like maybe not, maybe underrated is not the word. Yeah, like it's definitely underrated and overlooked. Like because I think people think of love and they think of, the first thoughts are like love language and things of that, and like emotional safety is just such this it's like this underlying blanket.
I don't think it's talked about enough.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's, and again, I think that's a very common theme, like that our listener had sent in, because again, like we've been there
Mm-hmm.
where shit doesn't necessarily feel emotionally safe. And I've talked about that on the podcast multiple times, where like my version of why. You know what I'm saying? Like my why used to be this. That was in a state where I wasn't offering emotional safety, and instead I was like forcing solutions, versus now it's like offering emotional safety and offering understanding and empathy and
Mm-hmm.
guidance. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's just so different when your relationship hits that point, because it just, again, it just feels like it just, again, makes love so
I think it's
simple.
in a whole too, because not even just communication wise, just feeling safety in your relationship period to be your authentic, vulnerable self. Like being silly, being ridiculous, like doing shit that you wouldn't do outside, that you can just do comfortably in your home because you know your partner isn't going to shame you for it or make you feel stupid. Instead, they either join with you or like play along in some way, shape, or form, to where it's just like we're just two big ass kids acting a fucking fool. And it's okay that we're doing that. Like, there's no one to judge. We're
Yep.
just here enjoying it. And it comes to like having boundaries too and being able to speak on them. Like, hey, for me, this is what I need. This is what I want. Okay. And then where can I meet you on those things?
Yeah.
What are things you need? What are things you want? How can we meet each other on those things? Like, you have to really be able to want to know your person.
I also think too, like, love, as beautiful as it is not always convenient,
Why?
because oftentimes love requires sacrifice, and love requires fucking, what's the word that I'm looking for? It requires sacrifice. It requires, like, I can't think of the fucking word. I can't believe I'm having a brain fart right now. Like where we like agree to disagree, or like, we meet in the middle. You know what I'm talking about? Like, all right, you're not gonna get it your way. I'm not gonna get it my way. Let's
Compromise.
Thank you, Jesus Christ! Wow, I'm gonna get fucking scorched in the comments because of that.
It's okay. I've had
They're
my
like, they're gonna be like,
moments.
this guy is a dumbass. We shouldn't listen to anything he says. Nah, but
I've definitely had those
again,
moments.
love is not always convenient. And I think when you realize that, it makes offering emotional safety much easier because when you understand that love isn't always convenient, that also means that it makes it easier to have the willingness to go out of your way. You know what I'm saying? Like when you ask me for something, I just jump up. You do the same shit. Like I ask you for something, you just jump up. You just like you did it. I'm like, really? You're gonna go? Yeah. Oh my god, fuck, baby, you're the best.
I was about to say, unless it's at night and I'm in bed.
Yeah, like if you're tired and shit, like yeah, I get it, bro. But like but again, that's like that. Even that's just on a simple scale, though. It's like like again, love isn't always convenient. So when you realize that, it makes offering emotional safety like that much easier because people who don't mind like inconveniencing themselves or like going out of their way for somebody, when you don't mind that, then it makes your willingness to compromise, your willingness to go out of your way for your partner, it makes all that shit like that much better. It makes it feel better.
It's more rewarding.
Yeah, well, because now you're doing it and it's like their happiness is such a reward, because of your selflessness, like your ability to offer that safe haven for your partner, showing them like I got you. That's that shit, bro. Like that's so fire. I don't know how else to describe it, bro. It's that's again, that emotional safety is just it's everything, and I think it just makes life so much easier, bro. Like, like I know both of us, like just from our previous experiences, like when we met each other, we kind of had to be emotional hard asses. And now it's like because of the emotional safety we offer each other, like we don't have to put on the tough guy act anymore.
Yeah.
We can just talk.
Yeah. And
I can just say I'm having a bad day. You can just be like, I'm having a shit day. Mm-hmm. And I can be like, all right, well, if you're 20, I'm 80, baby, because together we always 100. Yeah. And vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. I think it's so dope. I love that shit. Yeah, dude. You want to get into questions then?
Yeah, you do that.
Hell yeah, dude. You guys already know what time it is. It is question time, where me and my lovely wife, we ask each other a few questions in regards to the topic of emotional safety. And yeah, I've got my 3.
You want to go first this time?
Sure. All right, so here's my first question.
Do it.
Have you ever stayed in a relationship because it felt familiar, even though it wasn't safe?
Yes.
That was quick.
Yeah.
She said, like, every single one before you. What are you talking about? I'm just kidding.
I mean, yeah and no. Mainly my first serious relationship. Mainly because of the fact that we grew up together. He was my best friend for many, many years. And literally my biggest thing going into that relationship was he's my best friend. Like, I can trust him with anything. Like, I never would have thought he would have hurt me. You know what I mean? Because of how much trust I had for him, how much love I had for him. Like, I already knew his whole family. Like, it just made sense to me. And it felt familiar. It felt comfortable. And then once I was in it, it was so hard to get away because I knew that that friendship was gone. And I think for a really long time, I held on to it because I didn't want to lose that friendship. And it really fucked with my head. And then literally on and off for 5 years. Like, I dealt with it for 5 years because I just couldn't walk away. Like, I didn't know how, even though I knew mentally, physically. Like, I was not okay in that relationship. And it sucked.
Yeah, man, we do crazy things for love, man.
Yeah. But, you know, here we are.
Happens to the best of us, dude. Happens to the best of us. All right, what you got for me?
All right, ready?
Yeah, hit me.
Thinking back to your childhood, what feelings or topics were encouraged or accepted in your family, and which ones were you taught to suppress or avoid? How does that still show up for you today?
I mean, I think every guy that grew up in my generation can agree that boys just like kind of weren't allowed to cry. That just like wasn't a thing, dude. Like we weren't allowed to feel like sad and shit. You know what I mean? I feel like oftentimes like, no crying in baseball, rub some dirt in it, walk it off. Like that was just a very common theme amongst boys in my generation. I think it was just, again, that's why a lot of like my sadness and frustration and depression and all of that just translates to anger, because it's like
Because you were never really
you
shown.
weren't allowed to be sad and cry. You couldn't do that. Like that wasn't a thing. But it also like wasn't in a manner of helping regulate my
Yeah, I was gonna
emotions. You know what I'm
say.
saying? It was like suppression.
You just knew you felt it, but you knew you had to shut it up.
Yeah, you
type
had
thing.
to like not let your fucking tears come out of your eyes and shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, dude, I would say that was probably the one thing that definitely translated into adulthood. And again, that's what I mentioned earlier.
Do you still feel like that shows up for you today?
Not much anymore because of my ability to communicate. So I talk it out and I can get back to baseline pretty quick. I'm never on one side too long. Like I'm never on like a sad or an angry side too long. I'm very like feel it and I try to resolve it, or feel it and give it time. And I'm not very much one to dwell on a lot of shit.
You're not.
And I walk life with gratitude a lot now. So like I'm just grateful. Like I was even saying that at the bus stop today when I walked Jonathan to the bus stop. I was just like, I'm really grateful for today. He's like, why? I was just like, because I'm awake and I'm another day. I get to be your dad, and another day I get to wake up to my amazing family. Like, I just feel like that just makes life so much easier. So
It really
yeah,
does.
just yeah, I would say that's probably the one thing that definitely got brought into adulthood until I just had the tools to figure it out. And even still till this day, like I'm still figuring it out,
Yeah.
and trying to teach our kids ways
Just a
to figure it
learning
out.
process.
Oh yeah, man. I like that. That was a good question.
Thanks.
All right, ready? Here we go. If you could tell your younger self one thing about emotional safety, what would it be?
One thing. To find the person you can do that with. Because you have to know when somebody is willingly allowing you vulnerability, is able to be empathetic with you, and more so be able to help you navigate what's going on rather than dismissing you. Because I was somebody who tried to have emotional safety with everybody. And you can't have that with everybody. And I think because everybody that I tried having it with couldn't provide that to me, it created this sense of like, I'll never be enough. It's never okay. You know what I mean? It created a lot of doubt for me. You can't trust everybody with your emotions, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But learning how to navigate and find people who you can, that's important.
No, for sure. I like that. That's good, man.
Thanks. That was a good question.
Hell yeah. What you got for me?
All right.
Is this your second?
When we have a disagreement, what makes you feel most safe to share your honest feelings without holding back?
I mean, I think what just makes me feel safe is where we are as a couple.
Like today.
Just today, yeah. That's just the overall work that we've put in. And I guess if I was to give a more specific answer, it would translate to me trusting the effort that we've put in for each other to be vulnerable. Like, I can be vulnerable with you and not feel or have a fear that I'm going to be judged or it's going to get interpreted the wrong way or it's going to get used against me or any of that. Like, I know that I'm okay to speak freely. And then I know we try really hard to, like, communicate in a way that we could talk in front of the kids, you know? Like, that's kind
That
of
was
like,
big for us.
that's like a big one. You know what I mean? Like, we want to be able to communicate in a way that even if we're having a problem, our kids are seeing us resolve it in such a way that it's like, oh, so we don't have to scream and yell and get mad every time something bad happens. Bet. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
it's actually dope because I literally watch our kids resolve issues, like with like Maya with her friends, or even just with them as siblings, like to the
yeah,
point where like they'll try coming to us sometimes, and I'm like, nope. I'm like, you guys know how to communicate. Go figure it out amongst yourselves.
facts,
And then I hear them calmly figure it out and then go back to doing whatever it was they were doing.
facts.
So I love that.
Hell yeah, yeah, that was dope, man.
I liked your
That's
answer.
good, man. Thanks. That was a good question. All right, I got one more for you. You ready? What's your emotional ick? Like something people do that instantly makes you feel not, or that makes you not feel safe to open up.
I think my biggest one is dismissiveness. I don't like feeling dismissed. Like, it's probably one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to trying to discuss something that is bothering me, especially if it's something that, like, the other person legitimately did.
Yeah, but that's not even that big of a deal.
What do you mean?
I'm just
Don't
kidding.
do
I was
that.
just dismissing you.
Don't do that.
My bad.
Um,
Go ahead. I feel you. I definitely do not like that.
no, I feel like it's very disrespectful because, especially as an adult, like, teenagers, kids, like, that's one thing. Like, you guys still are learning. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But, like, as full-blown adults, like, just take accountability. Like, just apologize. You know what I mean? Like, stop trying to plant all these other little seeds to try to deflect whatever it is you did. Like,
Yeah.
what you did hurt me, and I'm rightfully allowed to feel hurt. I'm rightfully allowed to be upset, and you do not get to tell me that I shouldn't feel that way because you're deflecting or trying to, like, beat around the bush as to what you did or try to minimize what you did. Don't do that. I don't like that.
Facts. I like that.
I like that question. What would you say yours is?
The biggest one for me is if you're just the type of person to talk shit to me about other people when they're not in the room, but then we chill with them and you act all buddy buddy with them, you're just not somebody I want to. I just don't feel safe to speak around you. Like certain things I won't confide in you with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a good one.
Because again, like it's one of those things that like, what are you saying when I'm not in the room?
Yep.
You know?
I ask that question all the time when
So
I
it's
see
kind
that
of just like, I
situation.
think that's the one that kind of gives me the ick where like, and it's, dude, and I'm not saying people don't just like have their opinions and that's thing. I'm talking about like people who like can't wait till they're alone with you and they're trying to group you in on their dislike of this person. And I just, again, like I'm very like,
Well, I think it's like two things, right? Because there's definitely the situation where multiple people in a group have all seen the same thing from a said person, have all been involved in some way in a
Yeah,
said
like,
person.
again-
And then as a group, you guys talk about it because you guys all in some way are affected. But then there's also the flip side where it's like the group may not entirely know the entire situation with said person, but yet there's one person in the group that's like, yo, did you know? And then you're spilling all of their tea to all of these people that aren't really directly involved with
Or
said
just
person.
like, it's one thing to like talk about a situation that like happened in front of everybody. Like, to me, it's like, okay, look, like,
We
like
all
now
saw
we're
it.
discussing the elephant in the room.
Right.
But like you're talking to me about shit that you're just judging them on. Like,
yeah.
like, girl, did you see that outfit she was wearing to the club last night? Trashy. Like, what are we doing? What the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
I
that to
feel
me is
you.
corny. You know what I'm saying? Versus, yo, dude, I know you saw how wasted that person was last night. Like, that's a lot.
We can't be doing
we
that.
should say something. Like,
Yeah.
that to me is like, we're discussing like, okay, we're discussing like a friend that maybe like, you know, went overboard or whatever the case is, versus now we're like, one side is like, like, I don't like that judgy shit. Like, again, like, if you're just talking shit to talk shit, again, not with no good intent, right? Because again, if we're discussing something that happened and we're like, yo, maybe we should talk to them, check in on them, see how they doing.
Yeah, there's like some type of positive
yeah,
outlook.
like, there's some good intent behind it, and it's different. But it's like, when the intention is like to judge
wanna talk
or just
shit.
talk shit, yeah, that to me is like the ick that I like, like, whatever. I just can't fuck with you then. Like, I can't really talk to you then. Like, whatever. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. I'm not gonna throw you under the bus or nothing, but I just know who I can talk to and who I can't talk to.
Yeah, I like that.
Go ahead.
All right,
Read that for me.
was that your last question?
Yeah, that was my last one.
All right, deep dive real quick.
Go.
Can you describe a time we had a moment of rupture and repair where one of us felt emotionally hurt, but we worked through it in a way that ultimately made our bond stronger?
I mean, we've definitely had moments like that throughout our relationship. I mean, I've even referenced some of them. I can't think of like one specifically off the top of my head.
It's been a minute.
But like, I mentioned a bunch of them throughout the episode where, like, again, I've had moments where, you know, we've both had moments where this wasn't an emotionally safe place yet, you know, where you would say something to me and I would be like, dude, you're overthinking. Instead of, again, offering clarity or offering a different perspective or being understanding or empathetic, and vice versa. Like, there's times that I've been like, hey, you know, you're doing this, and you would be like, well, that's just how I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've both had those moments where we were not offering emotional safety for each other, and instead we're like, well, this is my house. And you're like, well, this is my house. And I'm like, well, I don't want to live in that house. And you're like, well, I don't want to live in that house. And like, instead of wanting to build a house together that we both felt comfortable to live in, it was like there was that moment where we were trying to live in each other's houses, and we were just like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that setup. Well, I don't like that setup. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we were doing. So, you know, until we, I guess, took control of our standards and created our own norm. You know what I mean? I think oftentimes we get caught in what we believe to be normal, what we're taught when we're growing up, the love that we witnessed during our lifetime, and those things have impact on how we handle the shit, you know, versus our own experience, our own desires. What the fuck do we want out of our relationship, you know?
Yeah.
And I think once we got to that point where we started answering those questions, what the fuck do we want from our relationship, instead of, oh, what does social media say we should have? What was our previous relationships like? How were my mom and my dad? Like, instead of using all of those factors to determine, we sat and started asking each other, like, yo, like, what is it that we want, you know? And I think that's, you know, that's kind of like where the pivotal moment began for us. But prior to that, yeah, man, we did that shit a lot. We did that shit a lot. Again,
It's crazy to think about how far
yeah.
we've came.
And again, and that's love, dude. People don't understand. Like, people think that you're gonna find. People think you find love, and I think love, while yes, it can be found, oftentimes the longevity portion of it is created.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the majority of it's built.
Like you may find love, but you don't really fall in it until like y'all really create that shit. Like, when everything is flowing, you got that well-oiled machine and it's just like everything is clicking, you know?
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Hell yeah, man. That was dope. That was a good question, man.
Thanks.
So you guys already know what time it is. We're going to send them home, baby. And for any of the new people that are tuned in, we always like to leave you guys with a question at the end of every episode. So if you guys are watching this on YouTube or on the socials, make sure you guys drop the answers below in the comments. Yeah, and our question of the evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time you're listening to us at, is: what's one small thing someone can do that instantly makes you feel emotionally safe? Again, drop it in the comments below, because you never know when the why in your story is silent. Until next time, guys, keep feeling,
Keep sharing,
and keep it real within
Within
the
the
feels,
feels.
baby.